Good afternoon, everyone. This is just the midweek update on two pairs, USDCHF and EuroGBP. I just wanted to follow up with the current status of my positions in these two pairs. I am bullish USDCHF. I want to get started on that first and foremost, explain my positioning and what happened in the most recent 48 hours. As we can see, it was a bearish decline from highs. I kind of suspected that in my previous video on this pair. If you go a few videos back, you can see me going over USDCHF. I did explain that it was a risk-seeking position, and I did see a potential decline from highs, and that's exactly what happened. So it's following suit. It did climb up an additional 30 plus pips in my favor before dropping what seems to be 80 pips and counting right now. And this is definitely already foreseen. That's why we prepare for not only offense but defensive trading as well. You guys can see I entered some orders since then, and I doubled up my lot sizes, and I still have the same long-term bias, but price did reject towards that downside, like I said, and it's testing out the 0.618 of the most recent midterm rally, and that's what I'm going to explain in further detail as we go down. So what did I do? I marked up the chart from swing low to swing high to get the most recent bull trend on the midterm, and we can see that it's testing out that 0.618 perfectly. I love the 0.618. This is one of my favorite zones to trade from as a technical trader, because this is where all the action happens. It either happens at either extremes, the high and lows of a trend, or in the middle of the trend. So that 0.618 is just a prime area to look out for. But what are we seeing right now? We're seeing a reaction towards that zone. That's where I have all of my orders positioned. And unfortunately, if price does continue to crash down below 0.919 or 0.920, around that area, I can foresee price rallying down towards the downside and potentially stopping me out. I do have my stops wide enough. I don't even think I need it to be that wide, but that's where my stops are. I'm actually going to move it up so we can have a more accurate approach. So I'm risking a total about 130 pips from my initial order, and that's okay because I do have a projection much larger. As we can see, I was risking 130 pips for about 130 pips towards the upside as well. So a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio, and with that drop to the lower end, I got opportunity to buy in at lower prices. That's why I only put about 40% of my position when I place market orders. I never put 100%, because as a market order trader, there's always that potential for you to get a really bad price, and I already knew that going into this. So market order did not exactly work out. It hit my limit order, and let's get more into detail so you guys can actually see the two trends that actually were happening. So the first trend upon my market order was this. So I entered around the pullback of USDCHF. That's what we see right here. Beginning of the week was the 20th. So we can see the end of the week. So 17th, 19th. Okay, I was eyeing this pair. I entered the first order around there with the expectation of it possibly going up and breaking highs. It didn't, and it kept crashing. Now it's testing that second bull rally, which was the initial bull rally that took off. So this was the extra bull trap right here. You can see the 70 pip run towards the highs. I consider that a bull trap, and it definitely, I got in at the lower end of the bull trap, but price action kind of wanted to go a little bit farther down, which is what we've seen, and it is testing the mid-range of the initial bull rally that happened, as we can see from here to here, and it is reacting perfectly towards that 0.618. We are in the I call this the action hour, London breakout. So we are testing that with a bearish tap towards the bottom. We have to see how this hour closes in the next 30 minutes or so, but if it does close bearish, we could see a potential rally towards the downside, unfortunately, and that would signal danger for my pair. And if it does close below 0.92, like I said, which is about It's a solid amount of pips away. It's about another 30 pips or so away. Then we could possibly see potential stop out, worst case scenario, or more probable of an outcome. It could be going towards the lows of that initial bull trend before taking off and going into a range in which I would no longer be looking at let's take a look at this. I'll no longer be looking at a new high to be broken for the month. I'd be looking for a range. So I would trade between the lows of this and the highs of this trend and just continue to take profit within that range until a solid break is formed. But that's my scenario if it does go against me. Now let's talk about the fun stuff, the offensive side. This is what everyone likes to talk about, but before you get into the offense, you got to take care of the defense. So going into the offensive side of it, I can see price potentially rejecting this based off of the continuation from September 13th highs. We can see that it did rebound and it did break to new highs, and it's currently on a bull run. So if it is following suit, this is just retesting that previous resistance, which is now acting as support, as we can see. If it does reject this previous resistance and now acting as support, it should show some sort of strong momentum and bull rally towards the upside, knocking out these sellers, going up at least 60 pips on the day and reaching the first TP, which is about around 0.932. So that is the move of the day, and if it does continue to go on up, which there's a few USD news, after taking some profit around here, I do suspect it to climb a little bit further up, and I'll take profit at my weekly target. So all depends on the price action for the next several hours. It's going to determine where price goes for the remainder of the week, and I'll act accordingly. Let's get into the next pair, Euro GBP. Break this down really briefly. This pair in particular, it's going up towards some highs, and it's definitely I did something similar thing that I did with Usdchf. I had market orders in, and I had a limit order in case it did climb or rally back towards that side. We see that price did not go down there, and it's actually in a risk-seeking bull run pattern, and we are seeing bullish engulfing, which I explained in the Discord community, and that is following suit with the previous bullish engulfing. These are the most powerful at supports or resistances. So if you look at the key levels of supports or resistance, it'll signal where price could potentially go. So if you see a bullish engulfing in the middle, it may not be valid. I want to give you guys an example. Here we go. This isn't necessarily at support, so what happened is it might have been an early signal, but because it wasn't at support, it did not play strong enough strength. See how this tap major key level of support right there and took off? That's right below that is where my stop is, as a matter of fact. And it kind of just took off. We have another bullish bar. This was kind of what signaled the breakout. As we can see, it had to have some momentum to push towards the upside from September 14th highs, and it did signal that breakout, and that's what we're seeing right now is the price is respecting that level and creating new highs. Now we see a resistance level right here, which did create a bullish engulfing, but it did not make it strong enough to push out. So that's why we've seen the retest, and we're currently now testing that with a bunch of signals that are leading into the confluence area to take this highs out. And depending on what we see on this 4-hour close, it should be strong bullish momentum breaking out to new highs, or if it's not going to break out those new highs within this 4-hour candle, then I'm looking to take some partial profit around 0.862, just because that's showing weakening of the momentum, and I would need a bigger catalyst to take it forward towards my weekly profit target of 0.865, which is above. So let's just wait, watch the market price action for the next several hours, see where it's going, and we'll play it off with that. And that's it, guys. Very simple, very easy, quick updates, and we'll follow up after midweek updates. We'll follow up at the end of the week to see where price went on these 4 pairs and go from there.